A farmer built around his crop a wall and crowned his labors by placing glass upon the top to lacerate his neighbors, provided they at any time should feel disposed the wall to climb. He also drove some iron pegs securely in the coping to tear the bare defenseless legs of brats who, upward groping, might steal, despite the risk of fall, the grapes that grew upon the wall. One day a fox on thieving bent, a crafty and an old one, most shrewdly tracked the pungent scent that eloquently told one that grapes were ripe and grapes were good, and likewise in the neighborhood. He threw some stones of divers shapes, the luscious fruit to jar off. It made him ill to see the grapes so near and yet so far off. His throws were strong, his aim was fine, but "Never touched me," said the vine. The farmer shouted, "Drat the boys!" and mounted on a ladder. He sought the cause of all the noise. No farmer could be madder, which was not hard to understand, because the glass had cut his hand. His passion he could not restrain, but shouted out, "You're thievish!" The fox replied with fine disdain, "Come, country, don't be peevish." Now country is an epithet one can't forgive nor yet forget. The farmer rudely answered back with compliments unvarnished, and downward hurled the bric-a-brac with which the wall was garnished, in view of which demeanor strange the fox retreated out of range. "I will not try the grapes today," he said. "My appetite is fastidious, and anyway I fear appendicitis." The fox was one of the elite, who call it sight instead of seat. The moral is that if your host throws glass around his entry, you know it isn't done by most who claim to be the gentry, while if he hits you in the head, you may be sure he's underbred. End of The Ambitious Fox and the Unapproachable Grapes. Fables for the Frivolous by Guy Wetmore Carryl. The Persevering Tortoise and the Pretentious Hare. Once a turtle, finding plenty in seclusion to bewitch, lived a dolce far niente kind of life within a ditch. Rivers had no charm for him, as he told his wife and daughter. Though my friends are in the swim, mud is thicker far than water. One fine day, as was his habit, he was dozing in the sun, when a young and flippant rabbit happened by the ditch to run. "Come race with me," he exclaimed, "fat inhabitant of puddles! Sluggard, you should be ashamed, such a life the brain befuddles." This, of course, was banter merely, but it stirred the torpid blood of the turtle, and severely forth he issued from the mud. "Done!" he cried. The race began, but the hare resumed his banter, seeing how his rival ran in a most unlovely canter, shouting, "Terrapin, you're bested! You'd be wiser, dear old chap, if you sat down and rested when you reach the second lap." Quoth the turtle, "I refuse. As for you, with all your talking, sit on any lap you choose. I shall simply go on walking." Now, this sporting proposition was upon its face absurd, yet the hare with expedition took the tortoise at his word, ran until the final lap, then, supposing he'd outclassed him, laid him down and took a nap, and the patient turtle passed him. Plodding on, he shortly made the line that marked the victor's goal, paused and found he'd won, and laid the flattering unction to his soul. Then, in fashion grandiose, like an after-dinner speaker, touched his flipper to his nose, and remarked, "Ahem, Eureka!" And the moral, lest you miss one, is, there's often time to spare, and that races are, like this one, won not all